Hello everybody, we are doing the weekly energy reading from the 19th of December 2022 through to the 25th of December 2022. I will be pulling one card per day just to see the read of the energy, so let's get to it. For those of you that are new to the channel, thank you for joining us, and we really would appreciate a like, subscribe and a comment if you got any value out of this or any of our other videos. Starting with Monday the 19th of December 2022, and we have the 8 of Michael card. You can be free, make a courageous choice to change a situation, not seeing things clearly. So when I have a look at this card, the energy that I'm getting off this is almost the story of the person in the picture, sort of, going through those garden gates, slamming them open. I've arrived. Here I am. What's next? I might have stepped in a puddle with one of my feet, but I've broken free. The chains are behind me, as you can see there. Behind her foot, there's an ankle bracelet. So there's the rope, but that's below her foot or around her foot, which indicates that she has broken free of the situation in which she'd found herself or they'd found themselves previously. So this is very much a new beginning, a fresh start. You've got through everything that was behind you. It wasn't easy, but clearly it was possible, and we know that it was possible because she's got the results of the possibility of her having been through an experience where there's this feeling of getting caught up in things and maybe being restricted by things, or things not working out the way that they wanted them to, or that it was more difficult than what they'd anticipated it to be. And the fact that she sort of slammed those gates open, that, right, I'm here, I've arrived, I've made it. And the lights are on in the card as well. It just all indicates to me, with the help of the Archangel Michael behind her, it just indicates to me that in terms of her thoughts, her perceptions, her ideas, her words, her communications, and even her actions and her decisions are all very much more directed into a more positive direction, or towards a more positive outcome. So there's really the assertion of power, or her asserting her ability to make choices, make changes, do things differently, get different outcomes. So that's really what comes across very strongly here for the 19th of December, is leaving behind all of the old stuff and breaking through those bondages, breaking through those challenges, anything that kept you held back, and stepping out into something much better, far more positive. Look there, you've got flowers, we've got grass, yes, we've got the pathway, but this really does feel like from being trapped, you're now being free. So that's, I'd say, a very good way to start a week. You'll also notice that there, on the other side of that, the gates where she's just come from, there's loads of trees, and which tells us about, and they're not, they're quite scary looking trees, and that just tells me again the clouded thinking, the loads of thoughts that took you in circles and sort of entrapped or enmeshed you in old ways or old belief systems. You've sort of coming through that this week. So that would definitely be an indicator to say, if you haven't quite got there yet, it's not long off where you'll be, those gates aren't even locked. You'll be given the opportunity to actually just step through, free yourself, and take advantage of this new cycle. So that's Monday the 19th. Let's see what Tuesday holds in store for us. Tuesday, the 20th of December, gives us the 8 of Ariel. Take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional education or training. Now, the energy of this card really tells me about, for me, even though we can see what it's written on the card, this is more about, for me, the energy is about taking stock of how far you've come, what you still need to do, what you've learned from it, how you've gained from the experiences that you've been through, and then also just checking that to-do list. What do you still need to do? How far do you still need to go? If you've been studying, how many, did you do your best? Are you expecting your results back? How many more years do you still need to go with this thing? How are you going to schedule your life a little bit differently in the coming year to fit things in based on the experience that you've had in this past year? And the Archangel Ariel is really she's trying to point out to you that there may be better or easier or different ways of being able to do things. Now, this also, besides education or studying, it can also talk about your work or career or business, and as well as your finances. So it's all about the very real material world, how you spend your days. So this, I would say that it looks to me here next to this chapter, there's quite a lot of books that he needs to get through. He's already got through one. There's a quill and some ink there, should he need to write down. But this is about, listen, you've got quite a lot that you still need to get through. So don't waste too much time on what you're busy with. Take what you need out of it, and then you can get on to the next thing. So it's again, the energy here is one of almost not procrastinating, doing the opposite of procrastinating, which is getting organized and scheduling time and being action orientated and having follow through and having a plan and implementing that plan and working that plan. So all of those things come across very strongly for me in terms of this card. And also, if you notice here behind his books, there is a staircase, so showing that if you do what you need to do, there is elevation that can and will take place. Either way, I would say to you, this also comes across very strongly of, we all know what it is that we should be doing or what we could do in order to make things better for ourselves. So that internal voice of ours, the voice, whether it's the voice of the angels or whether it's the voice of our higher self or God or our intuition or whatever word you use to describe that internal voice that guides you in the direction that is helpful for you. I feel like paying a little bit more attention to that, but then also actioning it and implementing it in the real material world in order for you to start making progress. But this looks to me like, it looks like there's magic coming out of the book. If you have a look there, there's lots of stars coming out of that book. And that just tells me that there's growth, there's change, there's learning, there's magic that's coming out of your story, your life story, and your schedule and the way that you spend your day. So Tuesday the 20th is maybe a day of a bit of reflection, or a day of if you're super busy, maybe making a to-do list and going through and ticking that off, because notoriously this time of year can be a super busy time. There's loads to plan. People are, sometimes entertaining family or going through some rituals or cleaning house or entertaining or going away or traveling, whatever the case is. So there might be quite a lot that needs to be done before you can do what it is that you are looking forward to doing. And if I recall, there was a couple of weeks back, the reading for that week was all about, having the vacation or traveling and holidays on your mind. So this might just be saying, okay, we're not thinking about that. What we're doing now is in the action orientated stuff, packing, preparing, creating those to-do lists, so that we can then, when we get to where we're going, we can then take some downtime and just enjoy ourselves. But this is the prep work time. All right. But for those of you that have been studying this year, it might also be a time of getting your results and finalizing those kinds of things that can give you some information for the decisions that you make, early next year. So that's Tuesday the 20th. Let's see what Wednesday the 21st holds in store for us. Wednesday the 21st of December is the 7 of Michael. There's a better course of action available to you. Working alone may not be the best answer. Review all the details. This card, when I look at the energy I get here, is decisions, decisions, decisions. Okay, so have a look to see if your thoughts, your decisions, your actions are taking you down, creating the circumstances or taking you down the path that you actually want to experience, or if maybe there's a better way of doing things, better decisions that can be made. Sometimes we make decisions out of stubbornness or out of pride or out of almost an emotional point of view. I know it's not the right thing to do, but I feel like I need propping up emotionally. So, that might be something to consider. So this would definitely, again, be a time of decision making, a time of going, well, is what I'm doing, and are the decisions that I'm making and the actions that I'm implementing, is that going to create the outcome that I'm looking for? Sometimes we do things that feel great in the moment, but, if they found out, or if we're caught, or if we are, if it all comes to light, then it actually leaves us worse off than if we hadn't done it. So that is definitely something to consider for those of you that it's appropriate to hear that kind of thing. So it might do your ego a lot of good, but it might not do your real world or your reputation any good. So they're just saying no matter what circumstances you find yourself in, it really is a matter of maybe getting your head right, because maybe your head's full of worries or delusions, or feeling trapped in your circumstances. That kind of thing. So it might be that you are already, maybe you haven't started going down that path in terms of action. It could just be in terms of headspace, that maybe you just overextended and overtired, and maybe not in a great space energetically, that they're saying to you, just pull back a bit and start thinking in a more positive direction, because things don't have to feel as burdened or as dull or dreary or negative as what you perceive them to be, but rather there are ways for you to feel, give yourself permission to feel like there are alternatives to what you are experiencing, whether that's, like I say, emotional or physical or financial. There are alternatives. You've just got to take a step back, because in order for him to get off that track onto that track, he needs to take a step back and reassess things. Okay. If you need to speak to a wiser, more experienced person in order to run your thoughts by them, and just bounce some ideas off them, then do that. But it does look like your higher self, your angels, your internal guidance is trying to get you to avoid making negative impulsive decisions, or to negatively affect yourself through your actions or your thoughts or your emotions. Okay, so they're just saying you can go through all of that if you really choose to, but it would be much better for you to actually shift your mind, shift your focus, shift your energy, shift your actions and your decisions into something that's actually got a lovely, long, clear, open path ahead of you. And I feel like that's maybe just a little bit of, tiredness, depletion that's getting you to feel a little bit on the negative side. So on Wednesday, maybe just take a deep breath, assess things. Is what you're thinking and doing helpful? If it's not helpful, let's try the opposite of that. So let's see what Thursday holds in store for us. Thursday, the 22nd of December 2022. That is the 7 of Gabriel. Stand up for what you believe in, have confidence, claim your personal power. I couldn't say it better. No matter what you've been through, there are definitely better things waiting for you. This really does speak very much about your desire to develop and grow, whether that's in your personal development or in your business, career, finance sector, or in your desire to maybe look after yourself a little bit better, or to be more available for your family, whatever it happens to be. This horse is just showing me, the winged horse is just showing me that you are in control of it, and you can get there quite quickly by the speed of your thought or your action or your desire. So all of these things that have been going on around you, and maybe being a little bit distracting, or that have been a bit challenging, there is definitely this progression that happens on Thursday the 22nd. So the energy there is one of motivation and passion and purpose, and new ideas, and allowing yourself to perceive solutions that are going to get you to your next step, to where it is that you're going. So a lovely, big, positive, action orientated, solution orientated day there, and that looks wonderful to me. Let's see what the next day, Friday, holds in store for you. Friday, the 23rd of December, we have the 5 of Gabriel. A challenge you can resolve, withdraw from any drama of others, have patience with yourself and those around you. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Life is very much made up of puzzle pieces, people, things, situations, emotions, thoughts, experiences. And your guides just want to remind you that there's so much more to it than all those little puzzle pieces, which are very much affected and influenced by those around you. So, if you lift your head up, you'll see that above you is, the open sky. So they're saying dare to dream, dare to dream of a time when the drama is more manageable, or a whole lot less, or non-existent even. But they're saying, instead of having a look at this puzzle that looks to me like, yes, there's some missing puzzle pieces, and yes, it all slots together and all that kind of stuff, that it might be time for you to actually just get up, walk away, and go outside, go and change the scenery a bit. You don't have to always do the same thing in the same way if you want a different result. So I would just say, by you knowing that you not only do you have the permission to do what is good for you, but you've got the ability to stand up and walk away, or stand up and do something different, or look in a different direction, instead of being focused on all of these nitty-gritties that take up our usual time and energy. So she also looks like she's got something that she's holding, and this tells me that what she's got is of value to her, and she can choose what she wants to do with it. But if you have a look here, the angel Gabriel is the angel of communication, and she's got owl wings behind her, which is the owl wings. Owls are symbolic of wisdom and being able to see through at nighttime when things are dark or unclear. But she is throwing the puzzle pieces, or allowing the puzzle pieces to drop down, and they will drop down where they drop down. So the same way as you get those little snow cones, with the scene inside, and the glass dome around it, and I think it's glycerine that's on the inside, and you give it a good old shake, and all of that snow, goes around, and then slowly, if you just put it down and let it settle, all those snowflakes settle down until eventually the glycerine is clear again and it's all settled down on the floor. And this looks like, if you don't get involved in the drama will just drop into place, because you're not adding fuel to it, so you're not getting it all churned up again, and that will bring you the relief that you're looking for. But there's definitely other opportunities, other ways of doing things, other ways of spending your energy. It's just to remember that you're actually not in control of any of that that's been thrown around. Well, you are in control of it. You're in control of the stuff that you throw around, and you're in control of the stuff of how you deal with the stuff that's been thrown in your direction. So if you don't want to deal with it, and I advise that you don't get caught up in it, get up, move away, change the subject, change the scenery, and that will clear your head, clear your mind, and put you back in control of yourself. So here, as you can see in this picture, there is that arch that you can sort of move over, and it looks like a completely different scene behind it there. So getting up, moving out from where you're at into something different, something better, something more free, because through that it looks like there's no roof above her head, so there's nothing that's going to suppress her or make her feel down in any way. So that would be Friday. Let's see what Saturday and Sunday brings us, the 24th and 25th. Saturday the 24th of December and Sunday the 25th of December 2022. Well, I can say one thing: I never expected two major arcana cards to pop out for us here. So we have the divine guidance, search for meaning in life, consider an alternative approach, surround yourself with wise teachers and friends. And we have solutions with Archangel Zadkiel, success that comes from objective compromise, self-control, patience, forgiving, and healing energy. In the traditional tarot, we have the Hierophant and we have Temperance. So that tells me, Hierophant is all about religion, or it can be about religion. So really going within, it's always a time of year where a lot of people take stock of their life and take stock of their family and take stock of their religion and where they fall into it. And a lot of people end up, going to church for Christmas Eve or Christmas Day celebration. So that would make sense to me as to why the Hierophant, the religious card, or the spiritual card would pop up on the 24th, 25th, as well as the Temperance card, which is the balancing the spiritual life with the material life, the emotions with the practicalities, the materials. So I do feel that this is a time of enjoyment. It's a time of reflection. It's a time of the temperance, the balance, the recharging your batteries, the doing things differently going forward. It's almost like it comes across as a little bit of a cut-off point for some of you. And maybe that's, to do with your head in terms of your thoughts, and I would have expected that this would come up closer to the beginning, on the 1st of January, but in these cards, what I'm seeing here is almost like a mental cutoff point to say, okay, we got as far as the 24th, 25th of December. Everything's different from now. So it's almost like the gap, and we'll see what next week's reading looks like. But the feeling I'm getting here, it's like the gap between this date and the new year date is where I'm going to rest, recharge, and almost not be part of the world for some of you in terms of your decision making and that. I mean, there's loads of people where life carries on just the same, and they work in retail, or they've got businesses that they're running that don't close down, and they work through regardless of what the date is. But for a large percentage of people that are obviously watching this video, it very much talks about that taking time out, pouring from the cup, being responsible when you pour into the cups, and you drain those cups, please, and obviously be responsible driving once you've emptied those wine goblets. But definitely this is very much about taking some time out so that you can fill your empty glass, fill your empty cup, emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and then, it's traditionally a gift-giving time, so you might even be filling it materially as well. But I feel like it's a very positive card, keeping the home fires burning, keeping the passion burning. There's that archway behind. They all have archways behind them, it seems. So it's that energy of moving from the old into the new, and it looks like the new is going to be far more positive. And I want to insert an if, and the if is if you take the time to recharge your battery. So just the same as your devices won't work optimally if their batteries are running low or running flat. The same thing they're talking about here, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Recharge your battery so that your personal device, you can function optimally when you start going again. This looks like a very, very positive time. There's one thing that does, draw my attention is that this 14 is a 5, and your divine guidance is also a 5, which tells me for some of you, it could be a time where, conflict might be something that you need to try and avoid. Maybe this is where the self-control and the patience comes into it. But yeah, so avoid conflict as far as you can. You don't have to show up for every bit of conflict that you're invited to. But if I add those two 5s together, I get a 1. A 10, and then obviously the 0 falls away, so it becomes a 1. And the 1 talks again about, new starts, new beginnings, new phases. So again, that goes in very much into the energy that we just spoke about now, about leaving, recharging, leaving stuff behind and recharging. And if you look here on this, there's very much the light shining down on that figure in the card. So there's blessings, there's divine inspiration, there's solutions, there's new ways of thinking, and that recharging energy. It's almost like that sunlight, in those if any of you remember, you're sitting in a place that's a little bit shady, and the sunlight finds a way to come through the leaves, or come through the crack of the door, come shine through a window, and that, I just feel like it's penetrating that darkness. That little ray, or that beam of sun, or that beam of light is penetrating the darkness that we've maybe found ourselves in through all the turmoil and drama of the year, and the drama that the newspapers and the headlines and all that brings into our awareness. So this is just about going, make some space, allow that positive information, those positive beams of light to come through to you, to just lighten up your space, to join up, so that you're standing there within that spotlight of goodness. So that's a very powerful weekend, the 24th and 25th, and it looks to me that it's positively powerful. Remember, here on this card, we are seeing the columns. So you've got your strength. There's more than one set of columns there. There's columns behind you. There's columns next to him. So this is very much about you being supported, and being strong and being protected. So all of your needs are being met. And you are being encouraged, because if you have a look here at the bottom of his robe, he's got all these signs and symbols which talk to me very much about, he's got a whole bunch of stuff in his toolkit that he can use if he needs to create the magic that will create the experience that he wants to live through. So you've got whatever you need. And this is just about you making, first of all, recharging, and then making your decisions going forward. But going forward, this it comes across very much in these cards of also having the magician, which is your number one in your tarot card, is the magician energy, which would then indicate you've got everything that you need to start this journey. So get going with it. So that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you found any value, we'd really appreciate you liking, subscribing, and commenting, and sharing with your friends. So until we chat again, you take care, stay blessed. Bye for now. And for those of you that celebrate, a very, very happy Christmas and a prosperous new year if we don't see each other before then.